and welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel, and we are still here in Gresham. We are now going to be talking with Hands On Greater Portland, which is a program of the United Way of the Columbia Willamette. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, I got it all in there. Malia Titchener, thank you for being here. You are the Eastside Program Manager.
Yeah.
And Dan Wraith, who a MetroEast volunteer and program coordinator for Hands On.
That's right.
Thanks for being here, Dan.
Absolutely.
Nice
I'm
to see you
so
again.
excited. Yeah, this is
I
wonderful.
know, I know. Well, see, last time you were here, you were actually behind the camera.
I was.
Yeah. And now here he is.
It's
The star on the
it's
other
a little surreal.
Is it?
Enjoying
I'm
it
glad to have
immensely.
you here.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I know a little bit about Hands On Greater Portland, but not a whole lot. So, Malia, maybe you could start out. Tell me a little bit, if you could, about what Hands On Greater Portland does. It used to be just Hands On Portland, didn't it?
Yes, yeah, and we actually expanded.
Expanded.
Because we moved into Washington County in around 2003, 2004, and so we wanted to acknowledge the fact that we're not just in Multnomah County, but we're also serving the communities out in Washington County. And yeah, so Hands On is pretty much an organization. We like to think of ourselves as a connector in the community, so folks who want to do good, they can come to us and we're going to help connect them with opportunities to do good in our community.
So if I wanted to volunteer for something, say I just moved here from Cleveland and I
Yeah.
wanted to get into some volunteer work, I could call you and say, these are the things that I'm interested in.
You could do
Or
that.
do I
Most of
just
it
say-
is web-based, actually. So
Oh,
we
okay.
want to give you the opportunity to actually
You can
kind
check it
of
out
take
yourself.
yeah, you can check it out yourself.
Okay.
You can put in your keywords, www.handsonportland.org, and we have a really wide variety of opportunities with over 250, 300 nonprofits in
Wow.
the greater Portland area.
That's a lot.
Everything from, helping walk dogs at the Humane Society to pulling ivy up in Forest Park. I mean, all sorts of different things for kind of folks who like to be indoors, outdoors, active, other things you can do while sitting down. That's what
I was going to say, if somebody were, say I'm homebound, maybe, I can't get out easily. I don't have a
Yeah.
car, or I'm, in a wheelchair, or I just, have to stay home a lot. I'm home with the kids, but I have a few hours in the afternoon or
Right,
something like
definitely.
that. Things you could do from your home that's volunteer
Yeah, we
work?
do. We have a handful of different do-it-yourself volunteer opportunities
Oh.
that we're in the process of developing right now.
Really?
And so basically, you'll be able to go onto our site, download what we call a recipe, and print it out. And it'll just come with some instructions for some different things that you can work on. One of them is like make cats toys for a cat adoption team, or make
yeah,
sleeping
yeah.
bags for the unhoused
Cool.
to use during the winter months. And that also comes with sort of a list of reflection questions and some other information that would be helpful. And so people can use, like a school could use it for a class, or
Give me an example of what you mean by a reflection question, like reasons why you're doing this kind of thing, or what is that?
yeah, exactly. Well, reflection is an important part of the hands-on Greater Portland model. So each of our hands-on managed volunteer projects, we end the project with a reflection where we just sort of ask some questions about the service and sort of call out each other's intentions about being out there to serve.
So
And
it's
that,
not a questionnaire about how did we do today. It's
No,
a question
it's
of
about-
why were you here?
or how did it make you feel, or did you think about this differently?
And why was it important too? I think so many times we go out on a volunteer project, maybe for 3 hours, and we have a little bit of time, and then I have to go home and do laundry, and I have things to do, and I have kids to pick up.
But you pat yourself on the back because you did something good.
Yeah,
right?
you want to take that moment to say, actually, wow, we might have pulled this much ivy, but us and the 50 other people that are coming out this week, this is what we're helping, Tryon Park do to help mitigate their ivy problem, and this is how we're contributing. And maybe I'm going to think about other ways that I can kind of continue to be involved after that.
And maybe why it's
particular project.
important. Because,
exactly.
okay, so I pulled ivy, so what? What happens if I don't pull the ivy?
Right,
If nobody pulls
exactly.
the ivy.
I think that education piece
Yeah.
is key in that opportunity to really take a moment to reflect and think about the reason behind what we're doing. Because otherwise, I could pull ivy in my own backyard.
Right. Okay, this is one of my pet things. I really like the idea of kids getting involved in volunteerism at an early age. If you see your parents do it, you're more likely to do it.
Definitely.
But do you have opportunities for kids to volunteer?
Yeah, we do. So we just finished developing a series of Good for Kids projects, and they're labeled on our website
tiny.
Good for Kids. And they're projects that are specifically developed with families and caring adults with children in mind. And so just simple things like the projects are less than 2 hours long. The projects are safe and easily understandable for children. And it's that sort of idea that if you can get kids involved at an early age and model sort of that service, that's something that they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. And we know that kids have the most fun when they're volunteering around other kids. And so
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. I really am.
Yeah.
And and with volunteering, I mean, everybody knows if you've done any volunteer work, you always end up getting more out of it than you put into it. I mean, if you really, I think, you go and it's like, that was really cool. I feel good about what I did. I know, and I met some great people. If you're, working with other people and connecting, and
you can learn a new skill. I mean, I didn't know how to paint anything until I got this job, and then started leading volunteer projects where I had to learn how to do trim and edging, and now I can fix up my house.
Well, do it yourself for now.
So I think there's a lot of people think you have to be altruistic to go and volunteer, and obviously there's a piece of it that usually compels us to want to help others, but we're helping ourselves. For sure, we're getting that satisfaction of knowing that we're out there doing some good.
Yeah, that's so important to our model, is that volunteering is transformational to the individual, and that's what we try to bring to all of our hands-on managed projects and Teamworks programs.
So there's a real, I don't know, spiritual is the way I want to put it, but there's sort of that component to it, isn't it? Or it's a more holistic approach to life, I guess. I'm not sure how to exactly say it, but it's not just going out and doing something. There's like the reflective piece.
Deeper meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk a lot about going deep and making our projects deeper, and I guess that's because it's hard to express that in any other way. But yeah, exactly.
And people bring different motivations too. I mean, some people just want to get out there, they want to do the work, they want to see that it was done, and then they're on to their next thing, and that's fine too. I think what we want to acknowledge is people bring different motivations to volunteerism, and we want to help them connect where they're at. Any way that they want to do good, whether it's I need some skills, job skills, and I want to kind of connect in, and I'm going to volunteer some time between jobs to kind of get my resume built up. I mean, that's a really practical reason, but it's
interesting too, because obviously the economy, it's hard to get a job.
Yeah.
And I know that putting volunteer work on your resume is a good thing. It shows, it shows a lot about you, but the fact that you can get some skills to actually on your resume, what a great thing. I mean, I know that's true here at MetroEast because we teach people how to make television shows. So if you have the ability to make a video for your organization, hey, that's a great tool to have. It's a great skill. But I didn't really think about that, Malia. That's good. You have a team thing going on now that I want you to tell me about, and I think we have some pictures too of some of those teams. So maybe we can take a look at the pictures, and you could tell me a little bit about the Teamworks program.
Definitely.
Tell me about that.
So our Teamworks program kind of was created with this kind of three-part model in mind, where we realized that a lot of what we do is connect people up with done-in-a-day volunteer opportunities, which means that they're kind of like, okay, we're going out, we've got 3 hours, we want to pull this ivy, we're going to see how much we can get done, and at the end of it.
It's not a big time commitment.
It's not a big time commitment. We realize that there are some people who either are shopping around trying to find a place they want to volunteer, so they want to try a few different projects out first, which makes total sense. Or maybe they don't have a huge amount of time. That's kind of the historic model of volunteerism was like, okay, you commit to this organization, you come out every week for 10 years. And but the Teamworks program really was an opportunity for people who want to come together and do some of those shorter stint opportunities, but they want to deepen their understanding and knowledge of a given issue, and they also want to make connections with other like-minded individuals who are also kind of community-minded. So
those women that we saw in the last picture, they share the wanting to wear the cute hats.
Totally. That's the reason I signed up. So this actually was a team that was all based around age-friendly communities in Portland areas. So how do we make Portland an age-friendly city? How are we making it accessible to people of all ages, including elders, and even looking at things like kids and accessibility for intergenerational communities to have all their needs met. Dannon, actually, I don't know if there's
is Dan there?
You can see
Where are you,
there.
Dannon?
He's second from the.
Second from the left. I got my helmet and my goatee.
Your goatee. That's why I don't recognize.
That was a bike-oriented Teamworks, like looking at alternative transportation. So folks who are interested in signing up around an issue of bikes and what does that look like in our community? How are we?
It looks big in our community.
It does look pretty big in our community, but where are areas that volunteers can plug in to help with bike infrastructure? And you'd probably be better at explaining it. You were the one that led it.
I think you did a wonderful job.
Okay, what is this? This looks like a garden.
Yeah, this was actually this is the same group that did the age-friendly communities team, and Mark Noonan in the white hair in the back. Elders in Action. It's a great partnership with them, where they're really working with us to create these teams so that people who are interested.
Oh yeah, Mark in the blue there. I see.
Exactly in the issues of kind of age-friendly communities and accessibility. So this is Bob's Garden, and they kind of planted all sorts of things. And this team is actually a fun one. This is our Northeast Portland kind of sampler team. So the
sampler team.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
The neighborhood teams are really fun. They become very popular. So folks who are either living in Northeast Portland or who maybe wanted to get to know it a little bit better signed up for the team. And we went and we volunteered on a bunch of different issue areas. So this one was with Community Energy Project. We're out weatherizing some homes.
North Killingsworth.
Yes. So that's our team there. And it's just, all of these people, I think, besides myself and my co-leader, nobody really knew each other prior to coming out to the team.
My God. But after you're done.
But after you're done, so each TeamWorks has a session of about 6 or 7 different volunteer projects or learning sessions. So the cool thing is that we can dive into not just volunteerism, but really say, okay, let's look at Northeast Portland and let's actually kind of dissect that. Let's look at the history, because I think a lot of people live in our communities, they don't necessarily know, if they didn't grow up here, even if they did, kind of where our communities have come from, why they are how they are, how they've changed, exactly, and what the issues are. Because I think, like outer Southeast Portland is going to have different issues going on as downtown Portland.
Oh, yeah, I was just looking at that community, there in inner Northeast, how it's changed in the last 20, 30 years.
Exactly.
It's incredible. Yeah.
So
that's really, I find that really fascinating. I think that's really cool that you're getting into more than just the volunteering, and I love that sampler idea. What a great, and if you were somebody new to the area, or you just were kind of an introvert and wanted to go out and meet people, and you didn't want to do the online dating thing. I mean, really,
we've had somebody say maybe we should do a 20s and 30s like singles mingler.
Nothing else. You meet new people, and new people are going to introduce you to other people.
A lot of people that come out on teams are people that are moving to Portland and want to find out more about the city, find out more about the stuff.
And with that in mind, we actually developed instead of just a neighborhood focus, a Discover Portland TeamWorks team. We run it once a year, and it really does call to people who are like, hey, I'm new to town, or I've lived here for a year or 2 years, and I just don't feel like
I've lived here a lot longer than that. I might say
that
because I think that sounds pretty cool.
On our last team, we had somebody who was born here and was just
like, I was born here. I think that sounds really cool.
And she was able to bring great perspective as well to the team, because I think one of the cool things about the TeamWorks experience is really that, it's not just about the leader, right?
It's not just about it's about the team and the connections that you build. And we talk about TeamWorks sort of having 3 major components. There's the team building itself, forging those connections and really bonding and get to knowing each other. Then there's the curriculum and the learning that happens and sort of exploring the issue deep, and then there's the service itself. But all of those things support each other in such a way that if all of those things are working really well,
some cool things happen.
Good success. Yeah, because in most volunteer experiences, it's just the service. You don't get the rest of it. That's really super. Dan, you're fairly new to hands-on. So what's your biggest takeaway from it? Is it a good place for you to be?
I absolutely love it. I love the people, and I love the work that we do. And it's not just, I talked about volunteering being a transformational thing for me. It's knowing that when you go out on these projects and we do our reflections, or if you get involved deeper in a TeamWorks and have that curriculum, you come away with a knowledge about an issue and a knowledge about maybe a nonprofit organization or something within our community that maybe changes the way that you look at things and the way that you interact and the way that you talk about them. And so the change that we're trying to create isn't just about the work that we do when we're out on the volunteer projects, that we carry that with us after we leave the volunteer project, and that ripples out into the community.
I was going to say, it's the ripple effect. Yeah. And as you talk about it and spread that information to other
somebody
people,
tells their friend, and then they're maybe a little bit more aware.
Everything's about networking and,
making connections.
Making connections. It's things have changed, but I like that. I like that a lot. I think it's cool. We're just about out of time. Tell me about the hands-on project calendar.
Yeah, so for folks who maybe can't commit to a team, we do have plenty of opportunities to get involved every single day of the year. On a 2 to 4 hour project, as I mentioned before. So that's an easy way.
For the kids, like Dan and
exactly.
said. Yeah.
So that's an easy way for, that's where we also put our teamwork. So you can find the first occurrence of a Teamworks and sign up for a team, or you can just go and say, hey, I've got 3 hours this Saturday. I wanna get out and volunteer, or I've got family in town in 2 weeks and I don't know what to do with them.
What a great
I'm
idea.
gonna take them to the Humane Society and pet cats. Like, this sounds great. So
You got an exchange student that's there for the summer. Let's
exactly,
Yeah.
it's a great way to get people
That's
engaged.
right. Any last minute things before we run out of time here that we should know?
Just if people are watching and they're interested in getting out and getting involved in the community, check out our website.
Yeah.
Sign up for some volunteer opportunities. There's something for everyone, whether you want to work with cats or the unhoused. If you want to go volunteer to usher at the symphony, there's a lot of different
Got a
opportunities.
way to
out
watch
there.
the symphony.
It's a great
Yeah,
way.
listen, that's cool.
Definitely.
Thank you both so much. I learned a lot today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on the
Did we
program.
tell them how to find the website?
We're going to have it up on the screen. We'll have
Wow.
all the information
Excellent.
for them there, so they'll be able to find you. And,
Wonderful.
Perfect.
I think you're going to be hearing from me too.
Perfect. We'll recruit you for a team.
Okay. Thanks, Malia. Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of Community Hotline. Don't go away. We're going to be right back with more. We're going to be talking to a gallery here in East County and the organization that's running it. So we'll be right back.